Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived a man named Obina. He was known far wide for his strength and bravery and admired by all who knew him. However, despite his many virtues, Obina harbored a secret of shame that he kept hidden from the world. When his wife Nkechi gave birth to their first child, they were overjoyed. But their happiness quickly turned to sorrow when they saw that their daughter was born with albinism. In their village, albinism was seen as a curse, and those born with it were often shunned and mistreated. Unable to bear the thought of facing the scorn of their neighbors, Obina and Nkechi made a very heartbreaking decision to hide their daughter away from the world. They kept her locked away in their home, away from the prying eyes, hoping that she would never have to experience the cruelty of the outside world. As their daughter grew older, Obina and Nkechi's shame only deepened. They neglected her, denying her the true love and affection that every child deserves. Instead of embracing her uniqueness, they treated her as though she was a burden, a constant reminder of their shame and embarrassment. Despite their neglect, the girl remained resilient, finding solace in the beauty of the world around her. She spent days exploring the forests and fields that surrounded their home, finding joy in simple pleasures of the nature. But deep down, she longed for love and acceptance of her parents, yearning for a connection that seemed forever out of reach. One day, as she wandered through the forest, the girl stumbled upon a clearing, bathed in the golden sunlight she had not experienced before. In the center of the clearing stood a majestic baobab tree, its branches reaching towards the sky like outstretched arms. She imagined herself having the freedom to be with other people. Drawn by this inexplicable force, the girl approached the tree, feeling a sense of peace wash over her. As the girl grew bolder in her defiance of her parents' wishes, Obina and Nkechi's anger only intensified. They could not understand why their daughter insisted on wandering into the forest, despite their warnings. Feeling threatened by her own newfound independence, they became more harsh and controlling, determined to keep her locked away from the villagers. One day, when they discovered that their daughter had once again ventured into the forest, Obina and Nkechi's rage knew no bounds. They confronted her with fury in their eyes, berating her for disobeying their orders and putting herself to be seen by the villagers and other people. In a fit of anger, they locked her up in a cage, treating her like a wild animal that needed to be tamed. From that day forward, the girl's life became a living nightmare, confined to the cramped confines of her cage. She longed for the freedom but lay just beyond her reach. Her parents' cruelty knew no bounds as they left her alone for days at a time without food and water. Locked in the cage, she suffered for those days. Nkechi and Obina's care to their daughter deteriorated. She was rained upon in the rainy season, and they did not care about her feelings. She did not change clothes, neither did she have a bath, for she was locked in the cage. After enduring years of captivity, sadness, and abuse, the daughter's resolve finally reached its breaking point. Summoning every ounce of strength within her, she devised a daring escape plan. One night, as her parents were sleeping, She managed to slip through the bars of her cage and fled into the night, her heart pounding with adrenaline as she raced towards the freedom that awaited her. As she emerged from the dense forest into the open expanse of the outside world, the daughter felt a surge of exhilaration coursing through her veins. For the first time in her whole life, she was free to roam wherever she pleased, unshackled from the chains of her past. With each step she took, she drank in the sights and sounds of the world around her, cherishing the newfound freedom she had been denied for so long. Despite the hardships she faced, the daughter refused to let her spirit be broken. With determination and fierce as flames of a raging fire, she set out to make her life for herself. Armed with nothing but her wit and unwavering determination, she embarked on a journey to hustle and work hard, refusing to let her circumstances to define her. With each passing day, the daughter's effort bore fruit as she gradually built a life for herself from the ground up. Through sheer grit and determination, she overcame every obstacle that stood in her way, rising from the ashes of her past to become a successful and respected woman in her own right. After many years, a word of her success spread throughout the village. The daughter became the subject of much gossip and speculation. People whispered about a mysterious woman who had risen from nothing to become a very rich woman. Little did they know that the woman they spoke of was none other than the daughter of Obina and Nkechi, the same daughter they had cast aside and forgotten. When Obina and Nkechi heard of their daughter's newfound success, they were filled with mixture of shock and disbelief. How could it be possible that the daughter they had abandoned and mistreated had become successful? Determined to reclaim what they had lost, they sought out their daughter, hoping to beg for her forgiveness and reconcile with her. But when they finally came face to face with their daughter, she looked upon them with cold indifference. With a steady resolve in her eyes, she pretended not to recognize them, denying them the chance to plead for her forgiveness. For in her heart, she knew that she had outgrown the need of their love and approval. She was no longer scared and helpless girl they had once known. She was a strong and independent woman, capable of forging her own path in life. And as she turned her back on her parents, she walked away. She knew that she would never look back, and never would she beg for their love and approval. And that is the end of the story. Thank you for listening to this wonderful story till the end. I love you so much. I'll be making a part 2 which will be dropping very soon. If you need a part 2, please comment down below part 2. Thank you for listening and have a good morning, good evening, or good night.